Alright guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video what I'm going to be doing is talking about my mom. If you guys are older viewers, you'll know that she's passed away, and if you guys are new viewers, you won't at all. You will not have known that. But yeah, my mom's passed away for the last 2 years. My mom has been gone. So this story is actually going to be how she passed away and basically what led up to that point. So a little bit of background information is my mom had arthritis and an autoimmune disorder, meaning if she got sick 10 times worse, and it was 10 times harder to get rid of it. So in October of 2012, my mom started retaining fluid on her leg. We have no idea to this day how or why it started doing that, but it started, and yeah, that's shit. So pretty much my mom, for the whole year of 2012, literally from New Year's, she was in the hospital. My mom was in and out of the hospital basically a month at a time. She would go, she would stay home for a month, she'd go, stay home for a month. You know, it was just a cycle of hospital visits and stays, so that's always not fun. So to get rid of this fluid, they basically said eventually if it doesn't go away on its own, you're gonna need a surgery. And a little side note about this surgery is if it doesn't heal and gets infected, you pretty much have a really high chance of getting your leg amputated. And if you know me and have watched my videos for a long time, you guys will know I have a phobia of nubs. Like, I'm dead serious. It's not a joke. I will run away screaming and crying if you were to chase me around with a nub. Like, I'm talking, if you get your leg or arm amputated and you have a nub, I'm scared of them. Like, I'm dead serious. It's giving me the heebie-jeebies right now. So the fluid never actually went away, and she ended up needing the surgery. So she had the surgery, and I begged my mom, guys. Like, I sat there crying, and I begged my mom not to do this due to the fact she had an immune disorder, meaning she was most likely gonna get infected, and you know, she just wanted the fluid gone. She was just sick and tired of having fluid on her leg. She didn't know why she couldn't walk on her leg, and she was just assuming it was because of this fluid and whatnot, messing around with her joints because of arthritis. And yeah, she went to multiple doctors. They had no idea why, sent her home repeatedly, so she kind of just YOLO'd it and said, whatever, let's do the surgery, guys, let's do it. But knowing my mom's luck and my luck put together, it was pretty much a 100% chance that she was gonna get infected, and you know, life is just great, and her leg ended up getting infected. The surgery was, so they basically took a tube and put it in her leg down to her ankle and attached this suction thing. It was like a container that suctioned down. And then as it lost suction, it was basically sucking fluid out of her legs. So I had to empty that for her because my mom couldn't walk or anything. So I had to do that for her, and I had to put it back on. I had to empty it as the fluid would drain, and it was like a never-ending cycle of fluid. Like, where was it coming from? No one literally knows where. She just took the tube out, and it was just draining on its own out of her leg, and it was honestly disgusting. It was bad. Like, I feel bad saying that about my mom, but it just wasn't pleasant. I never wish that upon anyone. The worst part of it is no one knew why. It was just happening. She needed to be rushed to the hospital shortly after she took the tube out because it got infected, and it was a blood infection, okay guys? So the blood infection spread from her leg throughout her whole body, meaning her temperatures rise, and she was it was shutting down everything. So she got rushed to the hospital, was put in the intensive care unit until they got the infection out, and then she was transferred to a regular hospital where she was for like a week until they discharged her thinking the infection was gone. They thought the infection was gone when it really wasn't, and they sent her home. This was actually April 1st. I remember this day. I really do. Because I was just so excited that she didn't lose her leg, the infection was gone, and I got to see my mother. So she came home, and she was home for a month before, like, she started getting sick again. And my mom was in and out of the hospital for, like, a year, so I thought it was, like, every other time. Like, she was gonna go for a month, come home, go for a month, come home. I don't think I've mentioned this at all yet, this video, and if I have, I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself, but my mom was on a really heavy dose of medication, and she was for a very, very long time. Like, she's been on the heaviest dose of OxyContin for as long as I can remember. Breakfast, lunch, and supper she had to take the heaviest dose of oxys, and if you or I were to do that, we'd most likely overdose, without a doubt. Like I said, she was on it for so long, she built a tolerance to it that she could take like 3 at a time and it wouldn't do anything. Mom couldn't walk by herself, so I had to get her up when she needed to use the washroom. I had to feed her. I had to do all this stuff for her at home, and pretty much everyone on the outside world didn't know this. So basically, from my mom being on so many different medications and whatnot, it created a hole in her stomach and blood started to pool in her stomach, so she was eating way less than she should have been, and yeah, it just wasn't good. And that went undetected for at least a month, I believe. I honestly don't know. She was so sick with so many other things, no one really caught anything anymore. So that went undetected for a month, and then her leg infection that was still there and hospitalized her a month prior was still there as well. So on April 27th, I want to say, my mom started having breathing issues, and I'm pretty sure the breathing issues were caused by blood pooling everywhere because she had a hole in her stomach, like I mentioned, and it was a whole her body was shutting down. Nothing was working the way it was supposed to. So she started having breathing issues, and she basically said the night before April 29th, she said, "If I call you up in the middle of the night, it is because I need you to call me an ambulance." And I was like, all right, okay. I forgot to add a part in here, so I'm just gonna commentate it right now. So, my mom actually, the day before I had to call her the ambulance, she started crying and she told me straight to my face she didn't want to die, and I patted her back telling her she wasn't, so I was wrong. That's not good, but I thought I'd tell you guys that because it totally freaked me out. It still freaks me out it's been freaking me out for the last 2 years, and she knew. She totally knew, guys. It was just freaky. Is there anything to call an ambulance? But the April 30th, actually, I ended up having to call her an ambulance, but it was later on in the morning. So pretty much I wrote it down in this journal entry, and I'm gonna read it to you guys right now. A little bit of it anyway. So I woke up at 11:30, maybe earlier, to help my mom get up. About an hour later, I had to call the ambulance. Her mouth and nose were bleeding rapidly due to her hole in her stomach was just coming out this way. Not good. She got to the hospital and I stayed back because it was so repetitive. I thought it was every other time. I was just gonna stay home for a little bit, do what I needed to do, and then go see her. But unfortunately, 10 minutes after my brother left, a cop came and escorted me to the hospital. I seen her unconscious, full of tubes, blood everywhere. Most traumatizing thing ever. All I can say now is we are all hoping she pulls through, but even if she does, I don't think she'll be able to come home. That's what I wrote April 30th, 2013, about seeing my mom leaving the house for the last time. So when she got taken to the hospital where I'm living currently actually wasn't good enough to take care of what was going on with her, so they transferred her to a bigger and better hospital in Edmonton, where I obviously don't live in Edmonton, so yeah, I had no way of getting there. So me being who I am, I really wanted to see my mom, so I basically got a ride from someone to go get my brother, and then me and my brother went to the hospital at 1:30 in the morning. Obviously, the visiting hours were non-existent at 1:30 in the morning, so everyone was concerned. People called all the adult figures in my life, and yeah, I got in shit for going to the hospital at 1:30 in the morning, and eventually they understood what happened because I just really wanted to see my mom, and she just got taken away from me like that. I'm not exactly just gonna sit at home yeah, I was in the hospital. I'm that kind of person that I did everything in my power to go see her, no matter what time it was. Pretty much she spent the whole month of May in the hospital in the ICU unit. She had one coherent day, and I wasn't there for it actually. I was at home because no one was available to drive me there. So basically what happened on this day was she was trying to write something, and her hands were so crippled from arthritis that she couldn't hold a pen, and she was so sore that she couldn't hold a pen. And this breaks my heart to this day because I don't know what she wanted to say. It's kind of like the movies where they say one word before they die and then they pass away. So what had happened was she wasn't able to write, and she wanted to say something or ask a question, but no one knows because she had a tube in her throat, and yeah, no one knows to this day what she wanted to say, and it breaks my heart because I'm curious. I'll never know, and it gets to me a lot. It's like the movies, except most times in the movies they finally figure it out, and I'll never figure it out because this isn't a freaking movie. That's how it happened. She got a leg infection and she ended up passing away because the infection took over her body and her organs failed. Yeah, life is great, ain't it? I don't know, that story was literally all over the place, and I made this video like 400 times beforehand, and I'm kind of just getting tired, and I really wanted to tell you guys because I went to her grave the other day and I realized how much I was keeping in about it, and I haven't talked about it to anyone in a long time, so thought I would tell you guys. So that's what I went through the whole month of May. I made countless visits to the hospital, and I watched my mom deteriorate even more. She was hooked up to like every machine you could possibly think of, and it was awful to see. The first time I seen her like open her eyes, she didn't look at me. She looked through me. I was basically just an object there, and she was looking past me to the wall or something. And when she heard my voice, you seen her lips go like this, and like she made like a sad expression, and tears came from her eyes, and that was even more so of a reason like for me to break down and stuff. So I don't know, it was just a really eventful month, year, life. Hope you guys did enjoy this story, and that's pretty much all I can say about my mom's situation. She just got a leg infection and it shut down her organs and stuff, so life is great.